life. That is the topic of our discussion during these 2 evenings. Bhagavad Gita in daily life. What do we mean by daily life? Well, in daily life, we are constantly doing one thing after the other, meaning that our life is characterized by performance of variety of actions. We meet with variety of situations and we are required to respond to situations. So one way of describing daily life is responding to different situations as they present themselves before us. Now, every situation expects a certain response from us. There is a proper way of responding to a situation, and there is an improper way of responding to a situation. Our life can be compared to a play because we are playing different roles in different situations. Same person is father with reference to his son or daughter. Same person is son with reference to his father or mother. Same person may be a brother, a friend, a boss, a superior, a subordinate, a colleague. Then he may be performing shopping, he may be selling, he may be buying, so many things we do. So from morning till evening, we find ourselves playing a variety of roles. That's one way of looking at our life. The person is the same, but the roles that the person performs keep on changing. So what would be living life? One simple way would be to perform our roles appropriately. Swamiji, what do you mean by playing the role appropriately? When would you say that we have played our role well? Well, going back to a play, a stage, how every actor is required to perform a role. For performing a role, there is a script. An actor performs roles according to script. Actor does not have freedom to say what he wants to say. He should say things that are according to script. He is required to act also as required by the script. Then he is performing his role well. Then he is a successful person. It doesn't always happen like that. Imagine an actor who is playing the role of a beggar. Normally he does a good job. As a beggar, he is sitting on the sidewalk, begging typically in India. People are walking by, people show different kinds of response to the beggar. Some people just walk by indifferent. Some people throw a coin at him. Some people may be kind to him. Some fellows may be advising him, what are you doing here sitting? Why don't you go and work? Somebody may insult him also. Thus, a beggar is subjected to variety of treatments by different people. And what is a beggar supposed to do? He's a beggar. Therefore, he is expected to deal with all these treatments and maintain his calmness so that his job as a beggar can be performed properly. So this fellow is a good actor and does his job well. One day, however, God knows what happened. Before coming to this theater and coming to the stage, when he left home, he had some kind of an argument with his wife. Happens. An argument got heated even while he was leaving. He said something, his wife said something, she got angry, he got angry. In that anger he left, came to the stage, all very well dressed as a beggar. But that anger is not gone from him, Because when you get very angry, when you get overcome by some emotion, sometimes it takes time to get over that emotion. So now he is sitting here as a beggar, playing his role, but his mind is angry, he's thinking about what his wife told him and why did she tell me this and this is all going, that another drama is going on in his mind. At that time, according to the script, people walk by. And one of these, according to script again, says something to him which is very insulting. Every day this is going on, he takes the insult because he knows it's part of the script. But today what happened, God knows, because of his anger. When some passerby insulted him, he got up and gave him a punch, which is what he would have liked to do to his wife. But he could not do that. The way he was treated by his wife, this is what he would have liked to do, but he could not do it. Therefore he had to contain himself. Somehow here, he lost his cool. He got up and gave a punch to that person. The curtains came down. The director comes and he says, "What did you do? Why did you give him a punch?" He says, "Why did he insult me?" But that is what is the script. That he is supposed to insult you and you are supposed to only withstand the insult without reacting. That's your role. But today, every day he was performing his role well. What is performing role well? When he acts according to script. Today, he acted not as according to script, as his mind told him. He was overcome by reaction. And therefore, his acting was not proper. Thus, if you look upon our life as playing variety of roles, which is what is one way of looking at our life, and what is the proper way of looking at life is to perform our roles properly, according to script. Swamiji, is there a script in our life? Yes, there is a script in our life. As I said, because we play different kinds of roles, as sometimes brother, sometimes sister, sometimes mother, sometimes daughter, sometimes friend, and so on and so forth. In each one of these roles, if you play the role according to script, then we are living our life well. If we don't play according to script, then we are not doing it. But Swami, suppose I don't play, what's the big deal? What do I stand to gain by playing my role according to script? Playing a role according to script means that I must keep my emotions and impulses under control, just as that actor playing the role of a beggar has no freedom to talk as he wants to talk. He must talk as the script requires him to talk. He must act as the script requires to act. You know what it means? It means that he should keep under control his reactions. In order to perform the role properly, it is important that we have to keep under control our reactions. What reactions? Sometimes anger, sometimes jealousy, sometimes greed, sometimes hatred, sometimes frustrations. So very often this kind of reactions occur in our mind. And more often than not, we get controlled by these reactions and thus spoil their role playing. But suppose, Swamiji, I'm angry, so what's the matter? I was angry and therefore I acted as an angry person. I was jealous, so I acted as a jealous person. What do I lose? Is there something to lose? Meaning that by playing the role according to script, is there something to gain? And by playing the role in violation of the script, is there something to lose? If there is something to gain by playing the role according to script, then only we are motivated to do that. Because we always look for advantage, benefit. What is in it for me? What do I stand to gain by playing my roles according to script? And what do I stand to lose by violating the script? Just as it happened to that actor, he can lose his job if he does it 1, 2 and 3 and out. That's the rule. Thus, if he does it 1, 2 and 3 times, he will lose his job. Whether he loses a job or not, definitely in our life there is something to be lost. The important thing to understand is that if we play our role according to script, then there is something to gain, and if we violate the script, there is something to lose. What do we gain? We grow. In what? We grow in our emotional maturity. We become an emotionally mature person. Then what? Then I am a happy person. More emotionally mature I am, more happy I am. And less mature I am, less happy I am. I'm less happy, what does it matter, Swamiji? No, happiness is very important to us because each one of us wants to be happy. That is taken for granted because we are born with a natural desire for happiness. Meaning that each one of us loves happiness and hates unhappiness. We are born with this attachment, love for happiness and hatred for unhappiness, attachment for happiness, aversion for unhappiness. You are born. Nobody wants unhappiness. Does anybody want any pain or unhappiness? No. Everybody wants happiness. Otherwise there is no problem. If unhappiness also is all right for us, then no script, nothing to worry about. Do what you want to do. But because unhappiness is not acceptable to us, therefore we have no freedom to do what we want to do. We should act only in a scripted manner, then only we can accomplish our purpose or goal of being happy in life. So this is the human life. Sukha prapti, dukkha nivritti. That's how they describe. Sukha prapti, pursuit of happiness. Dukkha nivritti, getting away, nivritti, getting away from unhappiness. Constantly, my life is a process of sukha prapti, dukkha nivritti. Seeking happiness and avoiding unhappiness. Getting rid of unhappiness. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita teaches us that we should play our roles well. Then we can accomplish this goal. So our goal is very simple. What's the goal? Attainment of happiness and removal of unhappiness. Ultimately, how much happiness can we gain, do you know? They describe that moksha is the goal of our life. Is a very big thing. Moksha is but moksha is the goal of, what is moksha? People have fanciful ideas about moksha what moksha is. Some will think that moksha means going to heaven and something unusual happening to me. Maybe some horns coming from my head, I walking 6-7 inches above the ground, some kind of a fanciful or romantic ideas we associate with moksha. That may be so. But we have a very simple definition of what moksha is. What is moksha? It said, Atyantika dukkha nivrittihi, cessation of pain or unhappiness once and for all. Niriteshaya sukha avaptihi, attainment of unsurpassable happiness once and for all. Meaning that we want that the unhappiness should go and never come back. We want that happiness should come and never go. Any other opinion? Is the third thing to be required? Even if you want to fly in the sky, suppose. For what? So that you can be happy. If you want to walk on water, so what? For what? For being happy. Whatever else you associate, the ultimate goal is to be happy. So moksha is very simple. Happiness comes, never goes. Unhappiness goes, never comes. Meaning that this is important to us. Understand that this happiness or moksha is very important to us. When we will get moksha, I do not know. But we need not worry too much about it. As long as we are on the path of moksha, then itself is good. It is like an escalator. When you climb the escalator, you are sure to reach your destination. Some escalators are very fast, some escalators are slow. But once you get onto an escalator, you are sure to reach your destination. Just for information, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked this question of Lord Krishna. That, oh Lord, here is one aspirant, a mumukshu, a seeker, who is striving to achieve the goal of his life and who is doing what all is required in terms of spiritual practices. Suppose his journey is not complete, meaning that he has not attained the goal for which he is working, and death comes and terminates his life. What happens to him? What happens to all the things that he did in this life, all the good karmas that he may have done? What happens, Swamiji? Does it all get wasted away, scattered away? Or not? Lord Krishna says no. Whatever good you have done in this life is never lost. Nahi kalyana krut kaschit durgatim tata kachati. Hey tata, oh my dear, oh my son, Lord Krishna says, that one who has initiated this process of self-growth, one who has deliberately started walking on this spiritual path of self-growth, he never suffers a loss. Then what happens, Swamiji? Oh Lord, if he dies, what happens? Lord Krishna says that in the next birth, he continues from where he stopped here. Meaning the thread continues. That is why I say that once a person has embarked upon this path of inner growth, emotional growth, spiritual growth, then there is no turning back. Therefore, what I am saying, what is important is that we embark upon the path of the spiritual or inner growth. Someday we will definitely reach the destination. That's what Lord Krishna says. Just as an escalator, when you embark on the escalator at the bottom, now a little later it will take you to the destination. And therefore, important thing in our life is not to worry so much about the goal as much about the process. Lord Krishna gives importance to process. Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Karmanyavadikaraste. Here Arjuna, your adhikara, your freedom, your responsibility is performing karma, meaning that initiate the right process. When Lord Krishna uses the word karma, what does it mean? He means not just any action. Just perform an action which is according to your script. Perform an action which is proper for you to perform. That action is called dharma. So when Lord Krishna uses the word karma, he means dharma. Perform action according to dharma. What is dharma? Dharma means a script. Ma phaleshu kadachana. As far as phala is concerned, as far as outcome is concerned, you do not have the freedom. And therefore, live, do the best and leave the rest. Meaning that we should focus our attention on karma or dharma or the process. As far as the end is concerned, it will take care of itself. That's what Lord Krishna says, Mahaphaleshu kadachana. So therefore, coming back to our daily living, confronting variety of situations, playing variety of roles, that we should perform the roles according to script. This script also is called dharma. Now, dharma is a word which is understood in various sense by people. Very often, by word dharma, we understand a religion, like Hindu dharma, or like Swaminarayan dharma, or Vaishnava dharma, etc., which is fine. But dharma has a more fundamental meaning. The word dharma is derived from the root dhru. Dharanat dharma. That which upholds is called dharma. Dharana means upholding, sustaining. So that which upholds, that which sustains is called dharma. What upholds, Swamiji? What sustains? There is something that sustains this whole universe. There is something that upholds the whole universe. That is called dharma. So dharma is a universal thing. Swamiji, what are you talking about dharma? What upholds? What sustains the universe? So thus, when we look at the functioning of this universe, we find that everything is in order. There is an order in this universe. And all the elements making up the universe, they all function in keeping with this order. For example, we find that the sun rises at an appointed time and it sets at an appointed time. Sun, meets sun, S-U-N sun, does not have freedom. You see, if we were to go to work and rise at a given time in the morning, someday we will say that I will sleep half an hour more, I'll wake up half an hour late. Sometimes we take that liberty. Sometimes from work we go home early, 1 hour early. But do you ever find the sun rising late in the morning? Exactly as appointed. Do you find him going home early? No. He does as appointed. Like an obedient servant. Take the case of water. The water boils at 100 degrees centigrade at atmospheric pressure, okay? Does the water have freedom to boil at whatever temperature it wants? Water says, today, every day I am boiling at 100 degrees. Today, let me take a little rest, I'll boil at 125 degrees. Or the other day, fancy water says, today I am in a hurry, I'll boil at 75 degrees centigrade. No. It boils at 100 degrees centigrade as appointed. Thus, everything seems to follow its own nature as it is appointed. Everybody follows a script. Like fire burns, sun shines, wind blows, water flows. Beginning from an atom to the huge galaxies. Wherever we saw, wherever we look, wherever we see, there is an order everywhere. Therefore, there is predictability in nature. Therefore, there is science. Otherwise, science would not be possible. The simple law that reaction is equal and opposite to action. There is a cause and effect relationship. The effect is compatible to the cause. Whatever happens has a reason to happen. And what do the scientists do? They simply find out the cause. That's called a law. Thus, when Newton must have been one day sitting someplace under a tree, he saw an apple falling from the tree. Different people have different responses to apple. If I saw an apple falling from the tree, what would be my response? Hey, apple is falling from the tree. It must be ripe. Let me have it. I can enjoy it. Somebody says apple has fallen from the tree. It's a good weapon. I can take it in my hand and hit somebody. Meaning that the same phenomenon can trigger different kinds of thoughts or responses from different people. Well, what happened to Newton? He asked this question, why did the apple fall? How come apple fell from higher level to lower level? How come apple did not fly up? I'm sure that millions of people have seen things falling to the earth. Nobody ever thought, but Newton thought. So he says, why? Meaning, what's the reason why the apple falls? Then he came up with this discovery. What is the discovery? What is it? Why does the apple fall? Because of attraction. Attraction is due to what? Gravity. Not that Newton created gravity. That's not the point. He didn't create it. Did he create gravity? No. He did not create the law of gravity. He just discovered what is. But the cause and effect relationship. That something falls, that's the effect. What is the cause? Cause is the pull of gravity. Just a simple example. Meaning that whatever happens has a reason. Whatever happens is called effect, the reason is called cause. Thus everything is related with cause and effect relationship. Suppose the apple had a freedom. Today I will fall, tomorrow I will go up. Then, could you come up with the law of gravity? No. But apple consistently falls. Therefore, the cause and effect. This is a very simple thing, but very important thing. All of us, as we go through schools and universities, learn a variety of laws, isn't it? Laws of physics, laws of mechanics, and laws of physics, and laws of electricity, laws of chemistry. There are laws in every field of science because things follow this order of cause and effect. There is predictability. Why the predictability? Because everything follows the order. Therefore we can predict when the sun will rise. When I now take my cell phone, there is a little thing called weather. I just press that, the weather comes. It says Toledo, 75 degrees. What is the temperature? 76, 78, 79, this, that. How does it say that? Because it can be predicted. How do they predict? Because of the weather patterns. What I am saying is that there is predictability. That shows that there is an order. If the order was not there, if the law of cause and effect was not there, there would not have been predictability. Thus, we find that the whole nature functions in a predictable manner. Swami, you are not right. That's not right. Can you predict everything? Can you predict everything? Isn't there some kind of a law of, what is it? Law of the probability? Whatever it is. They say that, your Swami, your laws do not apply to very subatomic particles and do not apply to huge galaxies, etc. But then, we may not know those laws. The idea is that the nature functions in a certain order. This is our observation. Therefore, there is an order which governs the functioning of entire universe, because of which we can predict how things will behave. That order which sustains or upholds the whole universe is called dharma. Now, of course, you may say that, Swamiji, physics has its own laws, chemistry has its own laws, mechanics has its own laws. So there is not one law. So many laws are there, isn't it? Mathematics, geometry may have its own laws. So many laws are there, so many orders are there. A geometry has its own order, algebra has its own order, physics has its own order, etc. But all these different orders are manifestations of one fundamental order. Have you people heard of what they call different fields? A strong field, a weak field. Do you know all this? I'm sure you know. And Einstein, as scientists, say that even though right now we find different fields, but there must be a unified field, meaning that there must be one field or one law or one order which can explain everything. Scientists are in search of that. But Vedanta says that there is one order which informs the entire universe, which upholds the entire universe, which governs the entire universe. And that order is called dharma. Dharana dharma, which sustains, which upholds, is called dharma. But we are not talking about a mechanical order. We are talking about a moral order. There is a moral order also which governs all phenomena. And therefore, a simple lesson from Bhagavad Gita is to act according to this order. What is the order, Swamiji, you are talking about? What order are you talking about? How do we know what that dharma is? We know Swaminarayan dharma and Vaishnava dharma and Hindu dharma and this dharma, but we don't know what dharma you are talking about. But fortunately, we all know that dharma. We all know what the dharma is, what the order is. How do we know? We are all in agreement with one thing. What is it? In what we expect from others. All of us are in agreement with what we expect from others, how others should treat me. I have expectation of how you should treat me. What is my expectation? That you should not hurt me, right? You should not insult me. You should not rob me. You should not cheat me. Is that right? Do we expect? Is there anybody here who likes to be cheated? I don't think so. Likes to be robbed? No. Likes to be insulted? No. Likes to be hurt? No. Correct? Is there somebody? I'm very clear about what should not be done to me. I should not be cheated, should not be insulted, should not be hurt, should not be robbed, should not be cheated. What you should not do, I'm very clear about it. Similarly, I'm also clear about what you should do. You should be kind to me, not cruel to me. You should be charitable to me, generous to me, not self-centered. You must be compassionate to me. You must be loving to me, not hateful to me. Is that right? Has anybody got any other opinion? No, Swamiji, I like to be hated. Is there somebody here? No, Swamiji, I am happy when somebody insults me. Is there somebody like that? No, I don't think there will be. Except once, our Swamiji was similarly addressing an audience. And he would ask, is there somebody in the audience who likes to be hurt? No answer. Nobody will say yes. Is there somebody here who likes to be cheated? No. So by that, he proved the point that nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to be killed, nobody wants to be cheated, nobody wants to be robbed. Every audience he would do this. Once when he did this, he was met with a surprise. Somebody in the audience said, when Swami asked the question, is there somebody who like to be hurt? He says, yes. No, this is unexpected reply. And you are embarrassed, you don't know what to do. So you are trying to prove a point that nobody wants to be hurt. Now here is somebody who says, I like to be hurt. The Swamiji did not know what to do. Fortunately, the audience came to his rescue. Somebody from audience got up and said, Swamiji, meaning that there is some problem there. Don't take him seriously. Meaning that as far as normal people are concerned, we are all normal people. At least we call ourselves normal. Somebody may call us abnormal also. You can say we are normally abnormal people. And people like us certainly are in agreement. of what should not be done to me and what should be done to me. Is that correct? This is called universal thing, right? No exception. So we are talking about universal dharma. This is Swami, dharma is relative. For somebody, dharma is doing this, somebody, dharma is doing that, somebody prays looking at the west direction, somebody prays looking at the north direction, somebody prays looking at south direction. Everybody is different. Somebody washes his face like that, somebody washes like that, So there are different things. How do you say dharma is common? That dharma may not be common. What is common? This dharma. In what we expect from others, we are all in agreement. And we are all born with that consciousness. Nobody has to go to school to learn that you should not be hurt. Swamiji, until then I did not know. Only when my teacher told me that you should not be hurt, then I learned. No, I knew it from the birth that I don't want to get hurt. When a child doesn't want to get hurt, a child also wants to be loved, is it not so? Meaning that we are born with an awareness of this dharma. That's the beauty of it. And thank God. Our Swamiji says that if we were born without this consciousness, it would be a manufacturing defect. But every creature knows that it does not want, not only human being, no creature wants to be hurt. Not even mosquito. Doesn't want to be hurt. So mosquito knows where to land on my body. He will land on the backside where I cannot reach. Doesn't want to be hurt. For example, a spider, spider? They're all very clever. A spider builds its nest, or web in some corner there where he knows that the maid servant will not reach, because he knows maid servant always cleans the floor, never bothers about cleaning in the ceiling and the walls. Never at a safe corner the spider would make its web, because he wants to live and live happily. Doesn't want to be hurt, doesn't want to die. This is not only for human beings, for all living beings. This is a common consciousness, common expectation, common desire. Therefore we say that this is dharma which sustains everybody, upholds everything. There are dharmas which are particular. Like Hindu dharma is a particular kind of way of life. And other dharmas are all sampradayas, traditions, which tell us how to live this dharma, practice dharma in our life. But the basic dharma is common to all. The dharma behind all dharma. Very simple. It's decided by not what I do, what I expect others to do to me. That is where the problem comes. I do not want you to cheat me. Swamiji, you don't want to be cheated. Why? How come you go out and cheat others? That's another problem. We do not want to be hurt, but we find ourselves hurting others. Now that's the problem, isn't it so? Swamiji, if nobody wants to be hurt, why do you find so much hurting in this world? Nobody wants to be hurt, but then people hurt others. Even though I don't want to be cheated, but I go ahead and cheat others. I don't want to be hurt, I go ahead and hurt others. What does it mean? It means that I am not living my life according to script. What is script? Dharma is a script. And script must be equally applicable to everybody. Not that I only want you to be kind and you are happy my being cruel. That cannot work. So therefore in daily life, when we interact with people, there must be a common basis, a common norm which can help us to decide how do we interact? How do we respond? What is the common norm for you should be the common norm for me. Then alone we can interact in a predictable manner. If that is not so, there will be no order in the society. Is it not so? So understand, dharma is very simple. If you follow this dharma, then you are following all other dharmas. In a way. That does not mean that we do not require our dharma. We require that. We'll tell you how. But this is the fundamental dharma. This is called the script. Simple script. Do not do unto others what you do not want to be done to you. This sentence you must have heard. Mahabharata says, Atmana pratikulani paresham na samacharet. Atmana pratikulani paresham na samacharet. Atmana pratikulani. What is pratikulam to you? What is it that you do not want? Paresham na samacharet. You should not do that to others. What you do not want to be done to you, you should not do to others. But that is only half said. What you do not want to be done to you, you should not do to others. But the other half is what? What you want to be done to you, you should do to others. See, we have two expectations. What I do not want from others and what I want from others. Both are there. I do not want you to be cruel to me. I do not want you to hurt me. Meaning I am clear about what you should not do to me. At the same time, I want you to be kind to me. I want you to be loving to me. I want you to understand me. Somebody understand me. Therefore, we do not want others not to do certain things to us, and we want others to do certain things to us. In this, we are all in agreement, no exception. This applies universally to all the human beings. Therefore, it can be called universal dharma. You follow? All the other dharmas are the manifestation of the universal dharma. So, day-to-day living is playing variety of roles, and a role is well played when it is played according to a script. What is the script? Script is the dharma. What is dharma? Simple thing. I should not do unto others what I do not want them to do to me, and I should reach out to others the way I want them to reach out to me. I want to live. Who doesn't want to live? To live and live happily. My neighbor also wants to live and live happily, right? I want to live and live happily. My neighbor means anybody. You want to live and live happily. That's all. Apply this simple rule. Then just be a kind person. Be a charitable person. But we are not able to. Unfortunately, we find, even though everybody knows this, and still people wind up doing to others what they do not want to be done to them. Meaning that, I don't want to be hurt, but I find myself hurting others. I don't want to be cheated, I find myself cheating others. I don't want to be lied to, I find myself lying to others. Do we find ourselves doing that sometimes? Sometimes. You are all good people, you may not be, but now and then. I don't think you would hurt, but sometimes we wind up saying things which hurt other people's feelings. Then later on we regret, isn't it? So when we know this, when we are all conscious about it, why do we do that? When I am conscious that you do not want to be hurt by me, why do I hurt you? When I am conscious that you do not want to be cheated by me, why do I cheat you or why do I lie to you? Why does that happen? That is why the dharma comes into play. That is why the script comes into play. Why does it happen? There is some problem. What is that problem? Lord Krishna describes that in the Bhagavad Gita. Indriyaschindriyasyarthe ragadvesho vyavasthito. Lord Krishna says that Indriya means sense organ. Indriyartha means sense objects. Ragadvesho vyavasthito. That we are born with tendency of raga and dvesha. Raga means attachment, dvesha means aversion. Call it likes and dislikes, attachments and aversions, raga and dvesha. What's a raga? Raga is attachment. Attachment means I cannot do without something. That's called attachment. If I'm attached to a person, then that person's presence is important to me. That person being favorable to me is important to me. That person's love is important to me. If that person leaves me, I become unhappy, I become miserable. Meaning that we are dependent upon so many things for our happiness, our comfort. If that thing is there, I'm happy, I'm comfortable. If it is not there, I'm unhappy, I'm uncomfortable. Do you have anything like that? If you make a list of what all there is, without which I cannot do, of which the presence in my life is important to me, that relationship is called attachment. Meaning that certain things I am dependent. Whenever I look upon something as a source of happiness, then there is an attachment for that. We said in earlier, what do we want in our life? Simple thing. Sukha prapti, dukkha nivritti. Attainment of happiness, getting rid of unhappiness. So there is a natural attachment for happiness and a natural aversion for unhappiness, right? Everybody wants happiness, therefore a natural attachment of happiness. I'm happy when I'm happy. And a natural aversion for unhappiness. So what happens? When I look upon this person or this thing as a potential source of happiness, then my attachment of happiness gets transferred to this person, and that person or that thing becomes an object of attachment. You follow? I'm attached to my car because car makes me happy. Basically, I'm interested in happiness. I'm attached to happiness. But that attachment to happiness makes me attached to many things when I look upon them as the source of happiness. Thus we find my friend, I'm very happy when my friend is with me. I become unhappy if my friend is not with me. I am attached to the friend because it is a source of my happiness, comfort. So that in presence of which I feel happy, I feel comfortable, I feel secure. That is the source of happiness, and that is called attachment. And there are other things in presence of which I become unhappy. Swamiji, I can't stand this person. I hate the person. That relationship is called aversion. No, Swamiji, I don't hate anybody. Good, you are a liberated person. I don't hate anybody. If that is what you can say, my salutations to you. That's what we want. But unfortunately today, there are so many things that I dislike and so many things I like. Like and dislike, attachment and aversion are like the two sides of a coin. When one is there, other is bound to be there. You see, many of you may be familiar with Hindi movies. I have not seen movies now for a long time, but in olden days when I used to watch movie, when the common theme in the movie was a triangle. There is one girl and two fellows love her. One is a hero, other is a villain. This is how it used to be. Then only the movie can work. Then there is a fight between the two. In the beginning the villain wins and then ultimately hero takes care of him. That's a lot of excitement is there, triangle. Two fellows fight. Because there is an object, this is called object of attachment. This woman is the object of attachment. I love her. Why do I hate this fellow? Because this fellow comes in my way of my relation with her. So attachment for her results into aversion for this fellow. You follow? Attachment for one results into aversion for other fellow whenever somebody obstructs, comes in my way of myself and my object of attachment. Then there is aversion. So attachment is there, aversion is bound to be there. You know, this man, he loves sweets. And unfortunately, his blood report shows that he has too much sugar in his blood. He's only too sweet, therefore doctors told him, no sweet for you. Now normally what happens? The wife acts as a police. I have seen this in my own eyes. That on the same dining table, when Swamiji is invited for bhiksha, the hosts are always very kind. They make at least one or two kinds of sweets. And this lady serves. That man says, give me also. So no, not for you. So that's how a conflict arises. The love or attachment for sweet creates an aversion for a person who comes in the way of my love for the sweets. I have seen even sometimes, because in America, people don't serve, they just help themselves, So this fellow helped himself with a piece of sweet. She snatched it away from his plate, says, no, not for you. What can this poor fellow do? He's helpless. Inside him is seething with anger. Attachment for one brings about aversion from the other. When there is an obstruction to the fulfillment of my attachment. So Lord Krishna says, Indriyasya indriyasyarthe raga dvesho vyavasthitau. Everybody is born with the tendency of raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion. Therefore, we always relate with other people only with attachment and aversion. We hardly have a relation which is free from attachment and aversion. This is our lot. And that is a problem. So what is the reason? When I have value for non-violence, I have value for non-violence. How do I say that? Because I want you to be non-violent to me, therefore. What value I have is determined by not what I do, what I expect you to do. We apply this rule to others. We are not always able to follow that rule, we apply it to others. But that I have value for non-violence is decided by what I expect from you. I have value for truthfulness because that is what I expect from you. So when I value non-violence, then how come I become violent sometimes? When I value for truthfulness, how come I sometimes find myself telling lies? In simple things. So what's your age? Simple things. Because in India people ask embarrassing questions. In the West there is certain etiquette. You don't ask these embarrassing questions. You don't ask any personal questions. You celebrate the holiday, the birthday, all right. Then in India, how old are you? Happy birthday to you. How old are you? Never ask that question. I do not want to reveal my true age. I don't know why. Most people, I'm sure you may not have that problem, but many people have that problem. That's what they used to say. What's a woman's age? 21. Next year, 21. Year after, 21. Somehow, we do not like to grow old. We have a problem with getting old. We always want to remain young. So attachment for youthfulness, therefore aversion for old age. Therefore, when my hair turns grey, that is a sign of old age. What do? I go to a beautician and get my hair dyed. Why? So that I look young. As the time goes, wrinkles appear on my face. That's how the kala kridati gacchati ayuhu. As Shankaracharya says in Bhajagovindam, kala kridati gacchati ayuhu. The kala means time. Always sports, very stealthily, in the ayuhu gacchati, the life is ebbing away. So a time comes when wrinkles appear on the face. Do I accept that? No. And so I go and have some kind of, what do they have? I don't know, some foundations and some creams and things like that, so that they don't appear. See, this has given rise to a huge industry called the beauticians or the beauty parlors. Billions and billions of dollars we spend because we do not want old age. Otherwise, they will be out of business. Attachment for one brings about aversion for the other. This is an example. Attachment for youth brings about an aversion for old age. Therefore, I have an aversion for, not old age, I have an aversion for my being old. I don't accept that. When you ask me what is your age, if I am 50, I say I am 40. 60, I am say 50. 65, I am 55. When I become 75, I say I am 85. Now then it changes. That's the interesting thing. You know why? Because see, look at 85 also, I look youthful, I look like 75. So, but anyway, somehow, in simple things also, we tell lies. When you travel in train in India, for example, people become, they start talking to you. They get acquainted with you, whether you want or not. What is your name? They ask your name. Where are you born? What's the name of your father? Where do you work? What is your salary? What's the bank account? Everything they ask, Now I'm in no mood to reveal my salary to this fellow. I know that my salary is 8,000 rupees a month, which is a very low salary. And this fellow asked me, how much salary do you get? 25,000 rupees per month. Why? Because I want to look successful. I have an aversion for failure and an attachment for success, right? So nobody wants to appear as an unsuccessful person, and therefore I present myself as a success, as I understand success. So how our attachments and aversions come in the way of our violating the values, violating dharma. So therefore, simple thing that Bhagavad Gita teaches, just live your life according to script. Script is dharma. What you do not want, do not do to others what you do not want it done to you. And reach out to others the way you want them to reach out to you. Lord Krishna says, Niyatam kuru karmatvam. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna uses the word and expression, Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Anybody knows in which chapter this comes? In the third chapter. That is all, just to embarrass you, nothing else, To show, now this is again attachment, to show that I know. See, you don't know. Attachment, to present myself as a knowledgeable person, to make a show that I am knowledgeable. All of this comes from attachments and aversion. Niyatam kuru karmatam happens to be in the third chapter of Gita. Well, Lord Krishna says, hey Arjuna, you perform your roles properly. Do not drop out. See, Arjuna wanted to drop out. You know what is dropping out? People, children here may not know. But in India we are very familiar with what is called dropout. See, when the high school exam, the senior year, is called the 12th, In Gujarati, 12th is called Barmu. They say this Barmu is a Barmu for people, meaning what? 12. So, examination of 12th is a very critical examination. You make it or break it. If you score well, then you can get admission in a good college or university. If you do not score well, you are condemned because there is very limited choice. Lot of tension. Exam is approaching. It's like this World Cup, Match is approaching. So much excitement, so much nervousness. So this appearing for the 12th is like going for this World Cup. Lot of excitement, lot of nervousness. As the day of examination is approaching, this fellow gets more and more nervous. And 2 days before the exam, he goes to his father and he says, Father, I'd like to drop out. Drop out means I will not appear for the exam. Do it next time. This is called dropping out. Meaning, unwillingness to face the situation. Unwillingness to take up the challenge. That is what happened to Arjuna. See, he does not act according to script. That's why these things came. Arjuna comes to battlefield. He is a warrior. According to the caste system, he belonged to Kshatriya caste, meaning he belonged to warrior caste. And what's the duty of a Kshatriya? What's the duty of a warrior? To protect dharma, to protect the society and protect dharma. That's his duty. Therefore, whenever dharma is in danger, whenever there is a threat to dharma, when there is threat to society, then the Kshatriyas, they arise and protect from the aggressors, to protect the dharma, protect the society. So here, the Kauravas are aggressors. They represent adharma. Because Duryodhana has done everything to violate dharma. So, Kauravas, of which the leader is Duryodhana, stands for adharma. And Pandavas, who was the leader, who was the eldest of the Pandava? How many Pandavas were there? 5. Who was the eldest? Yudhishthira. Whose son was he? Son of Pandu, or son of Kunti, or son of Dharma. Arjuna was whose son? Indra. Karna was whose son? Surya. Now you know. Bhim's son was whose son? Vayu. So Yudhishthira was whose son? Dharma. Therefore, Yudhishthira is called Dharmaraj, isn't it? Dharmaraj Yudhishthira. Therefore, Pandavas represent Dharma. Somebody says, Swamiji, how do you say Kauravas represent Dharma? There are Bhishma and Dronacharya, great dharmic people are there in the Kaurava army also. How do you brand them as Adharma? Unfortunately, the leader was Duryodhana, and that is why they are branded as Adharma. Because Bhishma and Dronacharya have no freedom to act as they want. They have to act according to dictates of Duryodhana, isn't it? Therefore, Kauravas are said to represent Adharma, and Pandavas are said to represent Dharma. It's not easy to follow the script. Dharma means script, and Yudhishthira was wedded to Dharma, to doing what is right, and that is not easy. Had it been easy, we would all do it. But Pandavas, to follow Dharma, had to put up with so much of hardship, so much of suffering. Is not, they were exiled in forest also. They were running for their life. The Ramayana also, Lord Rama is said to be the embodiment of Dharma. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Rama is the embodiment of Dharma. Our Swamiji says Rama is the walking Dharma. Walking and talking Dharma is Rama. Therefore, we are so fortunate that we have in our culture this great text called Ramayana, Mahabharata. What do they teach us? They teach us many things, of course, but one of the most important things they teach is Dharma. What is the right response to a situation? So Rama is the embodiment of Dharma. Therefore, what is it to be a son? Look at Rama. What is it to be a husband? Look at Rama. What is it to be a wife? Look at Sita. What is it to be a brother? Look at Lakshmana. Thus, all ideals are taught there. So similarly, but you know what happened to Rama to follow Dharma? He was exiled for how many years? 14 years. Had to go through lots of hardships. Don't think that living in forest it sounds very romantic, but it's not easy. Forest means all discomfort. Not American forest, Indian forest of that time, where you have to suffer from heat and cold and rain, all hardships. What do this Ramayana and Mahabharata, what do they teach us? That following Dharma is not easy. You have to be prepared for a lot of hardship. But anyway, Yudhishthira stuck to Dharma. He did not mind going through whatever hardship was required, but he stuck to dharma. Therefore, Pandavas represent dharma. And Kaurava, Duryodhana, he violated every norm of dharma. Therefore, we say that the Kauravas represent adharma. So, this is one way a battle between Pandavas and Kauravas, or you can say that it is also a battle between dharma and adharma. And so, Arjuna has come to this battlefield as a representative of dharma, to protect dharma, as a commander-in-chief to protect dharma. That is his duty. What is his dharma? To protect dharma is his dharma. You follow? His duty. But what happens? He wants to drop out. In the beginning itself, we know what happened to Arjuna. He comes to battlefield all right and requests his charioteer. Who is the charioteer? Lord Krishna is saying, how can Lord Krishna be charioteer? He is the king of Dwarika, you know. He is the most highly regarded. He was almost looked upon as Bhagavad. And still, he was willing to act as charioteer of Arjuna. Would you believe, would you do that? Suppose your friend says, hey, would you wipe floors for me? Would you become my servant? Would you shine my shoes? Would you accept his what? You are asking me to be a servant? But Lord Krishna did not say anything like that. Arjuna says, Lord, will you become my charioteer? Okay? So what's called dharma? Lord Krishna is following that, understand? The situation required this kind of response, he did. And so he became the charioteer of Arjuna. Arjuna requests Lord Krishna, please place my chariot between the two armies so that I can survey the army. And when he surveyed the army, he became very sad. He was grief-stricken, overcome by grief. And he says to Lord Krishna, Nayotse, I will not fight the battle. Meaning, I want to drop out. He says it he couches in very wonderful terms. He says, I want to become a sannyasi. He says it. But really what he wants to do is what? Drop out. So that is why this Upadesha or teaching is given to Arjuna and given to all of us. What is it? Niyatam kuru karmatvam. You do niyata karma. What is the right thing for you to do? You follow the script called dharma. So thus, Bhagavad Gita in day-to-day living. Simple lesson is to follow the script, follow the dharma. What is this dharma? We'll talk about it today, how to put this dharma into practice and how to live our life effectively. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.